The Atlanta Braves have made their first big offseason addition, signing outfielder Jurickson Profar. Now in this video, I'm going to react to the Profar news, what it means for the Braves, what it means for the Padres as they are not able to retain Jurickson Profar, and what it means for my New York Mets, a team that was interested in Profar as well. If you enjoyed this video going over the latest news in Major League Baseball, not always pertaining to a Mets transaction, make sure to hit the like button out of the ballpark. Slide into the comment section, what are your thoughts on the Profar deal? Are you a fan of it? Do you not like it? Who else should the Atlanta Braves target? How should the Padres be looking to replace the production that Profar gave them? And now that he's off the board for the Mets, what other players you want them to target as well? And if you're new here, you want to make me feel a little better about the Braves getting better and a Mets fan day being kind of ruined, make sure subscribed is always greatly appreciated. And to those who are subscribed already, you know the drill. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a stranger, tell a rival, someone you don't even like, you could tell them to subscribe too. And who knows, maybe you two will actually have a connection, a bond, and you won't be enemies anymore. But I do want to thank everyone who watched my most recent video talking about the Mets' top prospects. I'm very happy with the reception that it got, so thank you guys. There definitely is more content on the way from me. So let's talk about Jurickson Profar. He definitely is someone that is very interesting because of the kind of career that he's had. He's a guy that has bounced around the league. He's had multiple stints with the Padres, and this past year, even though he's now over 30, was the best year of his career, his only time being an all-star. Now, one thing to consider with Major League Baseball, the All-Star is a first half award compared to the NFL when you make All-Pro or Pro Bowl. That's done at the end of the season. An All-Star is for how well you performed in the first half of the season. And Profar was great in the first half, as this year he had a 305 average in the first half, OPS of 870, and he was looking absolutely phenomenal. Now, in the second half of the season, he dropped down to 243 batting average, 794 OPS. So overall, he was still able to put together a very solid season when it was all said and done because the really good first half kind of balanced out with the not so great second half. Now, one of the things to consider Profar is that this was a big time bounce back year. Last year, he really struggled. He played most of the season with Colorado. Then he was able to come back to San Diego, but between the two teams, he hit 242 for the year with the OPS of 689 and only 9 home runs. And that's with playing at Coors Field, where you have some help with the elevation in Colorado. So it was a big time struggle from Profar, and then he comes back to the Padres with a full go, and he's able to perform much better. And even in 2023, he only played in 14 games with the Padres, but in those 14 games, he hit 295. So it just shows that he tends to perform a lot better when he is a member of the San Diego Padres. One of the criticisms I saw from a lot of Mets fans whenever he was someone that was talked about on our Mets weekly streams, which you could catch live every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, whenever we talked about Profar, plenty of fans were saying, I don't know, I have concerns about him because he seems to only perform well when he's a San Diego Padre. When he goes somewhere else, he's probably not going to be the same guy. Now, I understand why fans have that concern and is completely reasonable, but I feel that if there was one other team that could just get Profar to all of a sudden be really good again, it would be the Atlanta Braves. Atlanta has done it time and time again. It was a massive piece of why they were able to win the World Series when they were able to turn around the seasons of guys like Eddie Rosario, Adam Duvall, Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler. I mean, all these guys, they come to the Braves and they have a crazy second half, amazing postseason, and the rest is history. And I feel that the Braves are a team that they can do that. They do a good job of evaluating talent. Even someone like Travis d'Arnaud, a lot of people thought was done. As a Met fan, I thought he was done. He turned out to be great for them. I mean, Matt Olson had some struggles. He goes to Atlanta. He's great. So Atlanta has done a very good job of developing their players, getting the most out of them, and targeting the right guys. It is very rare that you see Atlanta make a move, whether that's a trade, a free agent. I mean, talk about trades. How about Chris Sale having a Cy Young year when the Braves trade for him? So it feels like when the Braves target a player and they get him, most of the time it works out really well. And then just one extra thing, because this was someone that the Mets were targeting as well, you know he's going to be great. I mean, that is just, you could take that to the bank almost. And you know that when he plays the Mets specifically, he's going to be even better. So that's going to be huge. When you have a doubleheader at the end of the season, that's going to decide who goes to the playoffs and who wins the division. having Profar for those games will be a great advantage for the Braves. And Profar is also already a Met killer because of the great 2022 postseason series he had against the Mets when he was with the Padres. So no matter what, he's someone that Met fans haven't loved altogether, and now that he's a Brave, they're really not going to like him at all. Now, for the Padres, this is pretty interesting, losing someone like Profar, who definitely had a big impact for them, and overall, it has been a relatively quiet offseason for San Diego. I mean, we've seen potential trade rumors about maybe moving on from Dylan Cease, as the financial commitment that they have made, especially to the infield and what now became the outfield, with guys like Machado, Tatis, Bogarts, Cronenworth. I mean, they have a lot of big contracts on the offensive side, and they haven't been able to put together quite yet. I mean, they gave the Dodgers as good a run as anybody when you think about it, and they almost had them, but they weren't able to pull it off. Where are they going to go from now? Because obviously you've lost Juan Soto, and now you're losing Profar, and you just wonder how long they're going to hold on to all these big contracts that they have, because you do have a pretty high payroll with all those guys. If you're not able to win or get really deep into the playoffs with that group, you do have to consider, do we try to go younger and maybe keep some of these guys and maybe try to go more of a quantity over quality approach? That is something that they could do as well. So to see them lose Profar, that definitely stinks for the Padres, but we'll see how they bounce back from it. And then lastly, from the Mets side, I mean, the one thing that they could definitely do is try to re-sign Pete Alonso. I mean, that would kind of solve everything. And I understand that, they don't want to give in to what Alonso and Boris want. They don't want to meet the contract requirements, but you feel like they've got to get something done. They have got to keep him, because right now you are not seeing the alternative option. Bregman is definitely not that. I feel like they're not getting Arenado. So what other bat is out there that they could actually replace the P. Alonso power protection? I mean, yes, you have Juan Soto and you don't have Alonso, so there's an upgrade there. But then adding a Brett Beatty into the lineup does not help you at all. So I do want to see the Mets kind of get it done. We're seeing that maybe Toronto and Alonso are getting pretty close to getting a deal done, and that it might be in that 3-year window. So once again, when you're talking about 3 years, and we're only talking about a few $1 million, maybe opt out here, maybe opt out there, it shouldn't be that much of a big deal for the Mets, to be honest with you. Their payroll is not that crazy, all things considered, especially when it's the Mets and the previous payrolls that they've had. Even if they did get Alonso at a reasonable number, their payroll wouldn't be all that crazy. And if I'm the Mets, I wouldn't be too afraid of the opt-outs, because if he opts out, that means he had a great season for you. And the Mets got pretty far in the postseason without Alonso having the greatest of year. Had some nice moments in the playoffs, yes, but overall, not great. Had some ugly moments in the playoffs too. So I think if you got a great year from Alonso that makes him feel, I could opt out and get more money, that means that things might have went pretty well for you if you are the Mets. We are just so late in the offseason that those obvious alternatives are not out there right now, so that definitely is very frustrating. So I do want to see them just kind of get that done, because I don't see where else Plan B could take him. Yes, you got Jesse Winker, but you had Winker last year too, so that still does not replace what Pete Alonso gives you. So the next thing for me is the New York Mets have a road uniform that is going to be released on Saturday. We've seen some leaks, and I don't believe leaks. When it actually comes out and it's official, then I'll talk about it. That will be a video on Saturday. I'll be reacting to that Mets uniform, talking about some Mets uniforms I like in the past, don't like in the past, and just overall we could have maybe some concept ideas of what uniforms we think the Mets should have. So be on the lookout for that on Saturday, and then like I said earlier, Mets Weekly stream on Monday, and you're going to be seeing more from me in the near future. So once again, let me know what you think about the Profar deal. Braves side, Padres side, Mets side, any other team side, whatever fan you are, let me know what you think about the Profar deal. And until next one, have a great day, and let's go Mets!